Hi Aquarius, welcome to your end of September 2018 tarot update. It's Rena here. Oops, that card turned over. It's funny, a card turned over that was the King of Swords, so that could be you, but I put it back in the deck. Okay, I probably shouldn't have started this reading when the train was going by, but hopefully it'll go on in a second. The heart of the matter for this end of September is the Chariot in reverse. This can mean some kind of car troubles or maybe a journey that you were trying to go on that is delayed or off the table for now. This can mean that you feel out of control in your life. And we do have as the challenge position the World card. So, you know, it's very interesting because in late July you had a lunar eclipse in your sign, and so that was to be that chapter closing of some sort, like in a big way, in a bang, with a bang. And there may be issues that still are not totally resolved. And the reason for this could be several things. There could, because of the Mars retrograde, that, you know, Mars is now direct, and when I saw that the Chariot was in reverse, and I talked about car trouble, when Mars is retrograding, there can be issues with cars, anything metal, you know, and so Mars retrograded, started the retrograde in your sign. So that might have really impacted you along with that eclipse, lunar eclipse. And so basically, when Mars goes retrograde, you feel like you can't advance, okay? So Mars, I believe, will not get to the point where it was when it retrograded until after the first week in October, I think. Don't quote me on this. So it might just be the case of trying to get back to that, you know, it's still in its shadow period right now, trying to get back to that full expression and fully move forward. But I don't like to just attribute things to astrological transits. Now, I will say that with the lunar eclipse, you know, that could have brought a lot of things to a head in your life. And this is where you come in, because if you're the kind of person who is adverse to change, which I think a lot of Aquarians are, being a fixed sign, you know, I think that it's not that you can't change, it's just that you don't like it unless you are, it's kind of a strange paradox with Aquarius, because you are ruled by Uranus, and so there's that kind of unpredictability, but it's almost like maybe that's kind of like not something that you direct. It's just part of your life, that there are a lot of twists and turns, that you feel that things are happening. But I don't see you being the kind of person who embraces change, okay? Now, you are capable of just like cutting somebody down like very quickly, like just shutting them out of your life, or because anything that threatens your freedom, that certainly is an area that you could do that. But or maybe even like becoming like a totally different type of person. But in general, I think in the day-to-day mundane events, you prefer to have that consistency. So you may feel out of control, and maybe some of these recent transits have kind of like brought that up in you. The foundation card is the 10 of Wands, and this is a card of maybe working long hours and just sometimes this is getting the work of somebody, doing the work of somebody else in addition to your work. It's like you're taking on responsibilities that don't belong to you. Now, if you're with a Cancer person, because the Chariot is connected to Cancer, and maybe it doesn't have to be the sun sign. That would be a very strange combination, Aquarius and Cancer for 2 sun signs. I'm sure it exists out there, but it just is very different. And you may be dealing with somebody with a strong Cancer astrology, like maybe their rising sign or their moon sign, and they are having emotional problems. I could just say they're having problems, that they're out of control, and that is, you're kind of picking up the slack, but it might be something that is not helpful to you because perhaps it's preventing you from moving on with your life, because this is about like tying up loose ends and really going to the next phase of your life. And perhaps that is hard for you right now for whatever reason, because you're trying to take care of somebody else, or if you're in the workplace, you're trying to, maybe you want to quit a job, but they need you really badly because they're short on staff, and I'm sure that there are a lot of Aquarians that feel a sense of loyalty, so they are sticking around. The higher message is the Queen of Wands. This can be somebody who's kind of your guardian angel. It could be a mother, especially if she's Sagittarius, or this is supposed to be Sagittarius. You see the sun flower? Shouldn't it be Leo, another fire sign, or Aries? As far as qualities to embody within yourself, this is kind of like a career woman vibe. So, you know, specifically for women, if there's a domestic situation where you are codependent with somebody, that card would suggest that the best thing you can do for yourself is to go out and start and get some kind of job. I mean, you know, and pursue your own career, you know, and not try to save somebody else who doesn't appreciate your help, who is probably fighting you every step of the way. I always recommend that book, Codependent No More, Melody Beatty. I'd love to find my copy because I would read from it. I really consider it a spiritual text. I consider it in the vein of law of attraction way before I ever heard that term. I don't know if anybody else has made connections to that. But when I see this card, I think of codependency. And I'm sure, you know, it's really about feeling overburdened with responsibilities. So it can run the gamut. It surely can. But a lot of times when you're in that place where you're trying to help somebody else, you have to be careful that you don't sink down, that you don't like go down with them, you know what I mean? So the Queen of Wands is an attitude to adopt that's very confident and cheerful. If you've been feeling kind of down because of your situation, the reason she's holding a sunflower is to represent the positive spirit. And it might be something that you have a tendency to, you know, being an Aquarian, it's not that Aquarius isn't like a negative sign, but there is a co-ruler of Saturn. And Saturn can sometimes be pessimistic. And Aquarius is more like in the mind, analytical, than in the heart. So I would also say opening your heart chakra, opening the, embracing the warmth. Even this card is connected to fire energy. And maybe you need to just waiting for the truck to go by. Maybe you need to kind of revitalize yourself. It's really interesting. I just thought of something. There's this great book on chakras, and the woman's last name is Judith. You think that would be her first name, but it's her last name. She has written some, I guess you could call them groundbreaking books on the chakra system. So definitely look that up. Oh, jeez. That was the same truck. It went around the corner. Can you believe this? Or maybe that was the second truck with that name on it. It's a book. She's written several books, but I have one that she combines psychotherapy with the chakra system. It's really wonderful. It's like Eastern Mind, Eastern Heart, Western Mind, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, her last name is Judith. Look it up on Amazon. And it's just like, she talks about like the third chakra, is our power chakra. And how, she actually has exercises. In one of her books, she has like physical exercises you can do to, if you have an underactive chakra, to kind of like really energize it. And I think like the third chakra, one of the activities was to jog. And I thought, wow, that's very interesting, because I'm assuming jogging is an aerobic activity. I'm not like, I really don't know what constitutes. I know that aerobic means that they're adding oxygen, so I'm assuming that that's it. But just this idea of, getting your heart, your blood moving, you know what I mean? Getting into that state where you feel more energized. And obviously you have to watch your knees and stuff like that. So maybe jogging on a soft surface, on grass or something, but just even like fast walking, power walking, something that really gets you going. And you would be surprised, I'm sure that a lot of people can attest to this, that when they feel stagnant or when they feel like depleted like this, that it seems counterintuitive to do something like that because you're already tired, but it actually can help you. Now, another thing to point out too is rest, because that's a way to rejuvenate you and keep you from really getting depleted. So, but with the Queen of Wands, I do think of some kind of energizing activities that keep you, this is for the energetic level. This is a spiritual message. For the practical message, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and this is associated with being financially independent. So yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about. If you're kind of in a position that you're doing caretaking for somebody, and it's not, and the Chariot in reverse is, it's not working. It's like in the upright position, the Chariot is a card of victory, success, or success is the word specifically. And in the reversed position, it's like it's not working. So whatever your efforts are not working. And this is like a chapter that should have closed a long time ago. And this doesn't have to be a spouse. This could be like a child that has been troubled for many years, or a sibling. It could be anybody. And also in the workplace, you may have tried to help out your company. Somebody went on maternity leave, somebody is just on sick leave or what have you, and you're trying to make sure that they stay afloat. But then it just, one thing leads to another, and 6 months later, you're still doing this, and you're like, I'm ready to collapse here. I can't do this much longer. And really, I think that this would be suggesting that you probably had wanted to leave. Sometimes that happens where you're just about out the door and then they need you, right? And it's a test, and I'm sure there's a lot of Aquarians who say, oh, well, I want to help out, I want to do the right thing. And 1 month leads to 3 months leads to 6, you know. What's coming in is a Judgment card. This is the card of, you know, cause and effect, reaping what one sows, and rebirth. Now, I think this is a good thing for you because I think that, you know, something may happen, or I think also with you, if you feel that you've done all that you can do for someone, then it's time for you to reinvent yourself and this is a card of transformation. And it may feel like you have this, I don't know, this weight on your shoulders, you know, because of whatever the situation is. But understand that this too shall pass. I do not think that you should be passive. I think that you have to analyze your particular situation and see what is really going on here. Are you being taken advantage of by somebody? Are they preying on your sympathies? And are you allowing it and actually impeding their progress? But I think your efforts will be rewarded somehow. I think that there's, you know, and it's hard when it feels like you're doing something and you're not getting anything in return. But whatever that is, whether it's brownie points from God, or maybe you won't be able to see it in the physical, but your rebirth is on its way. And the outcome is the Hangman. And this is about letting go and letting God. And this can, you know, this is really open-ended. This is one of the reasons why I like doing tarot readings on YouTube, because it's very easy to say something that people resonate with a lot more than if you're being very specific about astrological transits. They might not be affecting people in the same way. But anyway, the Hangman is about, it could be a waiting period. And it might be that you have given yourself a certain ultimatum of 3 more months. If it's still like that, you're out the door. And you are, maybe you're saying till the end of 2017, or 2018, that I will do this and that. And after that, I get to move on with my life and do what I want to do. And that makes you feel at peace because you know that you gave it the old college try and it's on other people. And you may even say to yourself, you know what? A month before I actually leave, I'm going to tell my employer that I am going to leave, so it gives them time to find a replacement or something along those lines. The other thing too, I wanted to just touch upon something with the World card and travel. The World card can be like even, you know, traveling long distances. And this can be something you may, in October, that might be something that comes through when there's a new moon in your 9th house of long distance travel. But other than that, I think also, I mean, this could, as I said, it could be like a car that you need to replace and need to fix. This can also be for people that were trying to graduate and they couldn't quite do it. And you may have been really working hard at it and you still haven't found success. One thing that I would recommend you do is kind of like look at what you're studying and make sure that you're totally resonant with it, that you feel like this is something you want to do for the next however long a period, because that can indicate that perhaps there has been some kind of change of heart that you've had, and that might have shown up in not really wanting it and almost like pushing it away energetically. So just make sure that you really want to do it. You know, it happens so often where people think they want to study something and they start exploring it, and then they're like, whoa, I don't really like this. And maybe it happens way down the line when you start to do internship. For instance, if becoming a teacher, for instance, and you don't really get into the real world until you start student teaching, and then you're like, wow, this is what it's like. You know, you held such an idealized view, and you think twice about it if it's something that doesn't appeal to you for whatever reason. So it's very interesting, but you do have 4 major arcana cards, so change is really on the plate for you at this time, Aquarius, and so embrace the change. Okay, it's there for a reason, and it's time to move on. You know, that's what the World card in reverse is. It's time to close a chapter. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Take care. Bye.